This is DJ Space and Indie Rock and Roll Radio. And it's indie rock and roll for me. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, DJ Space was built from wire and old scrap metal. And there he remained until he was discovered by Indie Rock and Roll Radio. This is DJ Space on Indie Rock and Roll Radio, and it's time for the latest news update. Well, we appear to have a small technical hitch. In the meantime, I just know you'll love this next one. A 1,000 years ago, he used to look up at the moon and dream about being an astronaut. DJ Space. This is the DJ Space Request Show here at Indie Rock and Roll Radio, and I have my first request here, and it's for Shut the Fuck Up, and that's requested by, let me see, Guy Downstairs. Well, hey Guy, I'm afraid I don't have that track on my playlist, but I'm sure you'll love this next one. This is DJ Space, spinning for you 24/7 on Indie Rock and Roll Radio. Rockin' Indie Rock and Roll Radio. Let's go. This is DJ Space here at Indie Rock and Roll Radio. Did you hear about Bieber doing tap dancing? He fell in the sink. This is DJ Space keeping you company here on Indie Rock and Roll Radio, and I know you'll love this next one. This is DJ Space playing the best of indie and alternative music on Indie Rock and Roll Radio. This is the DJ Space Request Show here at Indie Rock and Roll Radio, and here's what you should do if you have a request. Write it on a piece of paper, address it to DJ Space at Space Towers, care of Indie Rock and Roll Radio, bung it in an old wine bottle, preferably one that is full, and chuck it in the nearest ocean. DJ Space, monster of Indie Rock and Roll Radio. DJ Space, seriously scary music on Indie Rock and Roll Radio. This is DJ Space. How many DJs does it take to change a light bulb? The answer is 3. The first to change the bulb, the second to change the music, and the third to announce it on air. DJs do it on air, here at Indie Rock and Roll Radio. DJ Space, the Avenger of Indie Rock. Iron Fist, Iron Will, iron your socks if you pay the bill. This is the DJ Space Request Show here at Indie Rock and Roll Radio, and I have another request from, let me see, Ron Number. Well, hey Ron, give us a call back. We weren't certain which track you were requesting, but I'm sure you'll love this next one. DJ Space, Waking the Dead, here at Indie Rock and Roll Radio. This is Indie Rock and Roll Radio. Put on your dancing shoes. This is DJ Space here at Indie Rock and Roll Radio. What's the difference between a Bieber and a computer? You only have to punch information into a computer once. DJ Space rocks your world on Indie Rock and Roll Radio. Roll away the stones with Indie Rock and Roll Radio. This is the DJ Space Request Show here at Indie Rock and Roll Radio, and I have a request from, let me see, Joe Kerr. Well, hey Joe, I'm afraid I don't have anything by my crotch, but I just know that you'll love this next one. Shake, Rattle, and Indie Rock and Roll Radio. Rock around the clock with Indie Rock and Roll Radio. This is DJ Space. 3 DJs walk into a bar. The first one asks for a beer, the second one asks for a whiskey, and the third one asks if there are any more requests. DJ Space, the artist, probably formerly known as Prince, of Indie Rock and Roll. This is DJ Space here at Indie Rock and Roll Radio, and I have the latest weather for you. Just looking out of my window right now, and it looks a little bit grey out there. I hope that helps you plan for your day. In the meantime, I know you'll love this next one. The amazing DJ Space, Vigilante of Indie Rock. DJ Space, the Caped Crusader of Indie Rock and Roll Radio. The DJ Space Request Show here at Indie Rock and Roll Radio, and Guy downstairs left a message to say he loves the sound of silence. Well, hey Guy, I love that song too, but I'm afraid Simon and Garfunkel is simply not on our playlist. But I just know you'll love this next one. DJ Space, Howling at the Moon, here at Indie Rock and Roll Radio. Some people tap their feet, some people snap their fingers, and some people sway back and forth. DJ Space just sort of plays good music. The DJ Space Request Show here at Indie Rock and Roll Radio, and I have a listener who called in to say he was going to open up a whole can of whoop-ass. Well, hey listener, I'm not certain what that is, but I'd sure love to share one with you. Something old, something new, something borrowed, and something blue. Indie Rock and Roll Radio. This is the DJ Space Request Show here at Indie Rock and Roll Radio, and I've received a call from another listener who forgot to leave their request. Perhaps you call me back. Now let me see, I have the name on a piece of paper. I Want a Man. That's it. I Want a Man. I Want a Man? Give me a call. Captain of Indie Rock. Gods Get Hammered with DJ Space. This is the DJ Space Request Show here on Indie Rock and Roll Radio, and I have a request from, now let me see, Prank Caller. Well, hey Prank, I'm afraid I don't have all of their clothes off, but I'll see what I can do in the next hour. DJ Space, keeping you up all night, here at Indie Rock and Roll Radio. This is DJ Space here at Indie Rock and Roll Radio. Santa Claus, Bono, a stupid Bieber, and a smart Bieber are walking down the street when they spot a $10 bill. Who picks it up? The answer is the stupid Bieber, because there's no such thing as Santa Claus, Bono, or a smart Bieber. Well, okay, Bono may exist, but he really doesn't need the money, does he? DJ Space, Out of This World. DJ Space, To Boldly Go Where No Listener Has Gone Before. This is the DJ Space Request Show here at Indie Rock and Roll Radio, and one of our listeners left a message but forgot to leave a request. The listener says he's a Klingon and that he's calling from Uranus. Well, hey friend, I know you're out there somewhere. I must confess, I don't know what state Uranus is in, so if you're listening, why don't you give me a call and let me know? Indie Rock and Roll Radio. One small step for humankind, one giant leap for radio. This is DJ Space here at Indie Rock and Roll Radio. What do smart beavers and UFOs have in common? You always hear about them, but you never see any. DJ Space, the final frontier, here on Indie Rock and Roll Radio. This is the DJ Space Request Show here at Indie Rock and Roll Radio, and I have one more request for The DJ Sucks from, let me see, Lady Caller. Well, hey lady, I'm afraid we don't have that track on my playlist, but I'm sure you'll love this next one. DJ Space, the sexiest man in indie rock and roll radio. I love indie rock and roll radio. This is the DJ Space Request Show here at Indie Rock and Roll Radio, and I have yet another request, this time for I Called the Law, from, let me see, a Guy Downstairs. Well, hey Guy, I know you've called before, keep on trying. Maybe it's the Clash you're after, but in any case, I know you'll love this next one. DJ Space, he seems to go on forever. But then you get to the end, and the monkey starts throwing barrels at you. This is the DJ Space Request Show here at Indie Rock and Roll Radio, and I have a request from, let me see, Def Fret. Well, hey Def, Kill the DJ is proving a popular track from Green Day and has been requested several times today already. But I just know you'll love this next one. The incredible DJ Space. He's green, he's mean, and he has super stretchy pants. This is DJ Space here at Indie Rock and Roll Radio. How many DJs does it take to change a light bulb? Well, we've tried this out here at Space Towers, and the alternative answer is 4. 1 to change the music, a second to announce it on air, and a third to hold the light bulb while the 4th DJ spins the turntable. The answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything. DJ Space. DJ Space. Scary stuff. Boo. This is DJ Space. 3 DJs walk into a nightclub. The first one says he's going to play Radiohead. The second one says he's going to play Portishead. And the third one, well, he says Indie Rock and Roll Radio, where the DJ never sucks. This is DJ Space here at Indie Rock and Roll Radio with Thought for the Day. Now let me see. We can't broadcast that. They'll have my license. Never mind. I know you'll love this next one.